بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه مباركا عليه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى جل جلاله وعم نواله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الحبيب المصطفى صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد ولا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا وأنتم الأعلون إن كنتم مؤمنين. صدق الله العظيم. So our dear brothers and sisters listening at home as well, what I want to discuss today is for human beings, there are 9 feelings that are very, very dangerous. There are 9 feelings that are very, very dangerous. And unfortunately, many people have at least some of these feelings. And having these feelings gets us into a lot of trouble, sometimes with others, otherwise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if I can talk about them today in brief, and then maybe we can talk about them more in detail later, but at least in brief, then at least we can check whether we have them. And if we have them, we can try to do something about it. So these are 9 different feelings that a lot of people have. The first feeling is called lust. In Arabic, shahwa, desire, over desire. Every human being has to have a desire. If you don't have a desire, how can you get to Jannah? If you don't have a desire, how can you want to be close to Allah and attain His happiness? So you have to have some desire. But if the desire is not regulated within what is right to have desire for, then it becomes complicated and it becomes haram and dangerous. In the modern world, the new philosophy tells you that as long as you got a desire that doesn't harm anybody else, it's okay. As long as you have a desire that doesn't harm anybody, and that is for your own benefit and your own excitement and your own fulfillment, it's okay. So that's why man to man relationships have become legalized. Homosexual relationships have become legalized. Maybe it's too loud for me. So, because why? If a man loves another man, or if a woman loves another woman, and they want to get married, why not? They're not harming anybody else. So this is the criteria that we are faced with. Anything which you feel like doing, that's going to make you feel good. If a person wants to sleep around with hundreds of people, why should that be a problem? They're consenting adults, they say, that they agree. So why should that be a problem? And unfortunately, we have limits in Islam. We have boundaries in Islam. We have rules in Islam. But when this is the discourse outside, the discourse is do whatever you want, as long as it makes you feel happy. It becomes more challenging. It becomes more complicated for us. And we feel like doing the same thing. Lust is like, this is fine. It makes everything feel amazing. At that moment, at least. Lust is those things which makes you feel usually amazing, really good for that moment. But after effects, they're not always so good. The other problem with just following your lust and desire all the time, and Allah help us and protect us, is that if you look at this chemically, whenever you do something, you get excitement. What is the excitement you get when you do something out of lust? You get a dopamine rush. This is a chemical in the brain that releases itself when you do something exciting. So once you get addicted to that, then you want to keep doing it. And then when you keep doing something out of lust, not out of need or not out of some temporary distraction, keep doing it. It's like playing games, for young children. for playing games, they get a dopamine rush. Then you want to play and play and play and play. And you don't want to do anything else. That leads you to make impulsive decisions. Anything you think that's going to excite you, then you're going to want to do it without thinking whether it's good or bad, or dangerous or harmful. Why do people go from normal pornography, which is haram in Islam, but is legal, to what they would call illegal illegal pornography? Is because you get used to the rush, you get used to the enjoyment, you get used to the excitement. So then it goes from one that gets a bit boring, so then you want to go further until you've gone into the haram and wrong. It's already haram and wrong, but you've gone into the illegal as well. This is just standard. This is how things happen. You make bad judgments, impulsive decisions, and then you make poor relationship choices. Your whole focus becomes dopamine, so you're less attentive at work. You're less attentive to your connections and your relationships and things that you actually are beneficial for you and that you need, because you're focused on that. And then you get a whole load of regret. You may do this for 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, but then you'll regret that you wasted your time, because so much of your productivity will have gone down the drain, because your focus was always chasing desires and getting the hits, getting the excitement. That was what that way. Nothing wrong with getting some excitement through a halal means once in a while. Nothing wrong with that. But if your whole day is spent playing a game, even when you're traveling to work, even at work, you go to check a message, you start playing a game. You go to check a news, you start playing a game, and it takes 15 minutes. So this is what they say. And when all of this is not going to have any deep, it is not going to give you any depth. It's all about just overall surface level enjoyment. You become a surface level person, because these are all surface level. There's no depth in them. There's no goodness in them. There's no benefit in them. Then it becomes more easier for you to ignore your compatibility or any deeper connections. Because if you are meeting somebody, if there's no enjoyment in there, you won't feel like meeting them, even if it's your mom or dad. This doesn't give you excitement. Your whole life becomes about excitement rather than expectations and responsibilities. If the responsibility is not exciting, you don't want to take it. That's why we've seen people mothers who have left their children at home by themselves while they've gone on a holiday, expecting the child to look after itself, 3-year-old. You have guys, married guys, who are sitting on the computer for 16 hours. They don't even go to the toilets. They have bottles there that they fill up. Or they wear special adult diapers, adult pads or whatever you call it, so that they don't have to go. That's how crazy that's extreme. But Allah Ta'ala help us. So you waste a lot of your time, and then you've wasted 10 years of your life. If you don't stop yourself, you waste 10 years of your life. You can't have a connection with anybody because there's no excitement. You don't want to visit your relatives. You don't want to call them. You don't want to have anything to do with them. Even with friends, as long as they're exciting, it'll be okay. As long as you can go and do something with them that's exciting, go and play together. Otherwise, you're not interested. Of course, you need exciting friends, but you can't just have friends that are always doing the same wrongs with you, because then everybody's doing the same thing. So you end up in a situation that makes you wonder eventually, was it all worth it? I've wasted 20 years of my life, 10 years of my life, 5 years of my life. That was in basic the lust issue, which is a massive issue today especially, there's not just about hypersexualization, but in everything else. Number 2, envy. This is another feeling that is very, very, very harmful. Envy. In Arabic, this one is called hasad. Envy is the classic thief of joy. What does that mean? Envy is something that will take the joy out of your life. Jealousy is something which will take all excitement from your life, because you won't be focused on your own achievement, you'll be focused on somebody else's achievement. And you'll be burning inside, why do they have that achievement? Whether you have it or not. Especially if you don't have it and they have it, that's even worse. All you'll do is burn and burn and burn. You won't look at what you have and be satisfied and content with that and make that work for you. Like, why does he have that? Why does he get to do that? Why does she get to look better than me? Why does she get a better job? Why does he have a promotion? Why does he have that car? Why does he dress like that? Why is he so much more popular? Why do people like him and not me? Focus on making people like you. Forget about him. So it's that nagging feeling when you see someone else doing something or achieving something, and instead of feeling inspired that, hey, if he can do it, I'm going to try to do it as well. Thank you for showing me this way. You end up feeling bitter. Envy will pull you into this endless loop of comparing yourself to somebody else and to an idealized version of others. The guy you think is having such a great life because you see just some aspect of them outside, maybe at work, maybe at school, maybe as a neighbor, and you feel they're really enjoying their life. How do you know they're not miserable? One typical example is people who think these lives of these online stars is amazing. They fly around the world, they do concerts, they influencers and so on. Then why is it that so many of these musicians kill themselves at the age of 20 and 30, 25 and 35? Just a year or two ago, there's this major South Korean influencer who killed himself at the age of 27, 28. And he's made everybody else cry. Why that age? If you're so excited, you're having such a good time, why would you kill yourself? And it's not just one, there's multiple ones in England and other places, multiple. Or they're into drugs to keep themselves alive. It's just the hype is too much. You can't deal with it. It's not a good idea to be that famous. You can't manage it. If you want to become popular, yes, there's benefits that come with that, but there's huge amount of pressure and responsibility. And a lot of people can't deal with it. So then they go into artificial things to do with it. And you want to be like that person because you think they've got a better life. Why don't you focus on our own lives, see what we have, and make the best possible person from our own selves rather than compare ourselves to others. So in envy, most of the time, people compare themselves to others in what they see outside of them, not to their real self, because they don't know what's going on in their life really. Their life may seem perfect for everybody else, right? That's what you think. Well, you're just trying to keep it together because you're focused on his life or her life instead of your own life. Get your own life together. So these are all things which have been talked about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about that in the Qur'an. Hasidin idha hasad. Sharri hasidin idha hasad. Right? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la tahasadu. In fact, the ulama say that hasad and jealousy is that one disease which kills the person who has it before it will kill the person they are jealous of, because you're just burning inside. The guy you're jealous of, you won't even know, and you're just burning inside. You come for salat, and the guy is there, you'll be burning, you'll mess up your namaz, his namaz will be fine. Unless you get a bit more aggressive and scratch his car, because you're so angry, right? And so jealous. And we'll do one more for today, right? Because our time is nearly up. The third feeling, which is very harmful, is greed. What is greed? It's related. It could be related. Sometimes people have greed. They're not jealous at all. They just have a lot of greed. They just want a lot. Greed is when you feel you never have enough. Is anybody who feels like that? I've never have enough. Even though, mashallah, you have clothing, decent. You have decent food. You have a decent car. You don't have a brand new car, but you have a decent car. A decent place to live. Maybe it's not a big mansion, but it's a decent place to live. But no, I don't have enough. So then what it does is it makes you chase more and more, feeling that that's going to make you feel good. Yes, look, sometimes you do need some. I don't have a car, I need a car. Because I can't get to places, I have to constantly use taxis and I'm wasting money. I need a car. Okay, you need a car. A decent car. But do you need a brand new car? No. You need a decent car to get you. Oh, but then, a second-hand car usually has problems. Well, yes, some do, but some, not all do. You understand? You need something, it's fine. I need to have the latest phone. That's a really common one. Okay, can you tell me what the iPhone 16 has more than the iPhone 15? What's extra on it? Nothing. It just charged you £1,000 and you gave them zakat. Every year you have to give them zakat. That's what you call greed. I just want more. You don't focus on what I have and is that enough or not? Yes, if you need something, go ahead and go for it. But if you don't need it, but how do you decide what you need and what you don't need? Because if a person has greed, then what we think we need is going to be somewhere way beyond what we actually need. So the way I should deal with this, if I can't figure this out myself, I need to talk to a few sensible people. What do you think? Do you think this is enough? Yeah, that's enough, man. Come on, life goes by. Another way to do it is think of people lesser than us. That always helps us to thank Allah and to recognize what we have extra. We're going to look at people higher and above us is always going to make us feel less because humans are comparative. Humans always compare themselves. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, compare yourself to somebody with less, so you'll actually be thankful. If you compare yourself to somebody who has more, then you're going to feel left out and deprived. Now, you just want more and more, whether it's money, power, validation, whatever. Social media has created this new thing of validation. Before, you couldn't really do much validation. Imagine a really beautiful girl. I mean, you don't have to, but imagine a really, really stunning looking woman, right? In a village somewhere, 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago, even 30 years ago, well, okay, 50 years ago. Okay, she's wonderful. All the guys will want to marry her. And then she finally gets married. And then her job is cut out. She starts cooking and she starts living. Is anybody going to be interested in her again? After, no, it's finished. She was beautiful and that's it, it's done. Now, such women will not get married. They will use their looks to make money until they can't anymore. And then after that, they'll be lonely because they don't have anything to do. The modern world has given you an ability to literally make money with something you don't achieve. Something which God gave you for a particular reason, and you are using it in the wrong way. That's with anything. You're good at a bit of comedy, you're good at making some weird remarks, so you make yourself popular with that. Is that something you want to be known for before you die? Unless you're a serious comedian there are serious comedians that have a purpose in life. They try to get the truths out through comedy, and that could be valid. But a comedian, just purely to make people laugh and mock people, how can that be really good? We might enjoy listening to people like that, but that doesn't make it right. So, no amount of stuff ever is going to make you feel satisfaction. You feel satisfaction for a day or two, maybe a week, and then after that you need the next one. That's just how it is. Pursuits are always going to be endless. So you just keep running on this hamster wheel of dissatisfaction, trying to get something new. In that, you burn bridges with people because you're just too focused on getting the next thing. And sometimes you're going to sacrifice your own values. This is what greed will do. It will sacrifice your values because ultimately just to get that bit extra, what you might have to do is you might have to do something haram. You might have to do a haram deal. You might have to, because you're greedy. So greed, ya Allah, greed justifies things. Sounds wrong, haram. You shop for a fatwa. And you're like, no, but it's not like this. It's okay. It's halal. It's okay. This is what's going to happen. So these are the three things that we'll discuss today. One what was the first one we discussed? Lust. That's a big one. Number two was envy, jealousy. And number three, was greed. And there's at least 6 more. So inshallah, in another week, we'll discuss that. Inshallah. Allah Ta'ala protect us, preserve us, give us a true understanding, and Ya Allah, Allah give us control. Allah give us control of our hearts. People, humans have just become uncontrolled now. It's so, the nafs is so weak. Ya Allah, help us and assist us. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.